What's up, friends, fellow card collectors? Card Hobbies here, and it's a different stream. It's a late night stream for me, so not only am I gonna ramble, and ramble and ramble, I'm also gonna be sleepy while I'm doing it. No, I'm not really sleepy because I'm awake now, which is the reason I'm doing it. But I'm doing an off-the-cuff video today, and it's gonna cover 3 contest entries, as well as anything else I might ramble about afterwards. So the first contest entry is for TheSportsCardFam, and I think it's their 500 subscriber giveaway. So what they wanted to know for a video response was, what's your favorite sport? Why is it your favorite sport? And what's a memory you have of being a fan of that sport? So my favorite sport is football. Tell by the Dolphins hat up here. I grew up in South Florida as a kid, up until middle school when I moved to Georgia. So when I was growing up, football was king in South Florida. I mean, it still is king in South Florida. But growing up, there was no other professional sports teams in Miami besides the Dolphins. And as far as college, you had the Hurricanes too, and both of them were pretty successful during the '80s. So Dan Marino was the king down there. Jimmy Johnson, Hurricanes were awesome as well, winning national championships. So football was, the sport I fell in love with first. You couldn't tell it by the way I collect, because I collect mainly baseball cards. But football is by far my favorite sport. Love football. A memory of football is after I moved to Georgia. I remember a specific Sunday. Parents were having a cookout at the house. And at this cookout was a Steelers fan and his fiancée at the time, who was a Bills fan. And me being a Dolphins fan, the Dolphins were actually playing on TV, during the cookout. And I remember this Bills fan, she, the Bills and Dolphins went back and forth. They were really good during their early 2000s. Of course, the Bills went to 4 straight Super Bowls. And then the Dolphins were, their main rival in the division, because at that time, the Jets and the Patriots weren't very good. So, the Bills and Dolphins really had a rivalry back then. It was pretty much dominated by the Bills, though. They pretty much had the Dolphins' number for the most part. But anyways, this specific game, was going on during the cookout, and the Bills fan kept pretty much talking trash about how much she wanted the Dolphins to lose. And I was 12 years old. It wasn't like I was talking mad trash back at her. But the Dolphins were losing, at some point in the game. I don't remember the exact flow of the game. I can't remember because the Dolphins were playing the Jets this game. And I can't remember if the Dolphins were up big and the Jets came back, or if the Jets were up big and the Dolphins came back. But either way, the Dolphins had the ball, driving towards, close to the end of the game. And of course, Dan Marino, his quarterback, was a master of fourth quarter comebacks. You didn't want the ball in his hand, with the game on the line if you were an opposing team. And this game's actually remembered quite well because it is the Marino fake spike game against the Jets. And I remember seeing, we were there in the living room, and Marino pulled out the fake spike, and they had already driven down the field. It was almost a foregone conclusion that the Dolphins were probably going to score, but just the way they scored with the fake spike play and Marino pulling off the come from behind victory against the Jets was amazing. I was hopping up and down. I was so happy. Bills fan wasn't too happy, but I think she was kind of happy to see how happy I was. This 12-year-old kid jumping up and down, being all happy. But yeah, that's just one of the great memories I had growing up being a Dolphins fan. But yeah, so that's my entry for TheSportsCardFam. Check the description below. I'll have the links to all these contest videos down there, since there's going to be 3 responses in here. For any of the contest givers that want to watch these responses, just click the link below. The next contest entry I want to do is for MP Fox. MP Fox is doing a contest for season predictions, which is always fun. So They had 20 questions they wanted you to answer. I got them all down on this piece of paper so I didn't forget them. So the first 6 questions are, who's going to win each division in MLB? For the NL East, I'm going to go the Braves. Yes, I'm biased. I'm a Braves fan. Going to pick the Braves. NL East is going to be a bloodbath this year. It's 4 really good teams in the NL East, with the Mets, Phillies, Nationals, and Braves. It's going to be very competitive. For the Central's kind of tough to pick for the NL Central. Reds are improved. The Cardinals are the Cardinals. Cubs still have a lot of talent on their team. Pirates not so much. So I think I'm going to go with. This one was a tough pick. The Brewers are there too. I forgot about the Brewers. I think I'm going to go with the Cubs. I think I'm going to go with the Cubs to win the Central. I think they realize that their window of that core that won the World Series a few years back. They're aging and they're going to be free agents or whatever. I think David Ross motivates them. I really like David Ross as a manager. He's definitely going to be a player's manager, and all the players are going to love him. But yeah, I'm going to pick the Cubs to surprise and win the NL Central. NL West, this is kind of an easy one for most people to pick. It's got to be the Dodgers, right? Getting Mookie is just a huge signing to an already very, very potent offense. They got the pitching. They lost Ryu, but you still have Buehler, you still got Kershaw. Yeah, the Dodgers are definitely going to be the team to beat, mainly because of their lineup is just ridiculous. Ridiculous lineup. AL East, another pretty easy one, I would guess. The Red Sox traded away Mookie. They still have Devers and Bogarts, and they're still gonna win some games. But the Yankees just, the signing of Cole, they just pretty much got a super team right now. Amazing lineup. Even without Stanton or Judge, if they're injured, still have an amazing lineup with Glaber and LeMahieu, Sanchez. A lot of power in that lineup. So yeah, I'm picking the Yankees to win the AL East. AL Central's tough. White Sox have gotten a lot better. But I think I'm going to go with the Twins for the Central. They won it last year. They added Josh Donaldson. They added some pitching. I think the Twins, have a better all-around team than the White Sox. White Sox have a good team now. I mean, they got a lot of young players, though. One of those two teams is probably going to be the wild card team, if I'd imagine. For the West, I know, it's the team to hate on now, but I'm going to pick the Astros. They're still probably the best team in the West, top to bottom. Angels got a whole lot better. A's are still going to be pretty good. That's going to be a tight division, I think. I think the division is going to be tighter than it has been, but I'm still going with the Astros to win the West. Question number 7, more wins, the White Sox or the Cubs? See, that one's going to be tough, but I did pick the Cubs to win the NL Central, so I got to pick the Cubs to win more games. Judge home runs. This is a tough pick because Judge is injured, and it's a rib injury. They said it was like a hairline fracture or something. So he's probably not going to make opening day. How long is he going to be out? Is he only going to be out a couple weeks and be right back in there, or is he going to be out multiple months? So Judge hit 27 last year. Only played about 100 games. Only played about 100 games the year before, or the year before that. Is Judge going to play 100 games? Is Judge going to play 130 games? How many games is he going to miss this year? So I'm gonna stick with what he's been hitting, 27 home runs. He's definitely capable of hitting 40, definitely capable of hitting over 30, but can he stay healthy to hit all those home runs? So I'm gonna say 27. I really think he misses quite a few games this year. Rib injury is nothing to deal with because there's not much you can do about it. Just got to let it heal all the way. And, hopefully it's not something that nags him for a long time. Question number 9, Harper's batting average. This one's tough, but Harper did play better at the end of last year. So I'm going to say his overall batting average is going to go up a little bit. I don't think he's going to hit 300 by any means. If he does, then the NL is in trouble if Harper hits 300. Because that means he's going to bomb a bunch of home runs and hit for high average. So I'm going to go with 268. I'm going to say Harper hits around 268, which is better than he did last year. And is very serviceable, with the power he's got. Do the Marlins win 80 games? No. I don't think the Marlins are going to win 80 games this year. Not playing in that NL East with all those talented teams. I think they're going to be better, and you're going to see a lot of these young players come up, and that should be real exciting. Not just for Marlins fans, but for collectors, all around, to see some of these players come up out of the minors and get their rookie cards and the top sets and all that. Give you something more to collect there, something more to chase. Gives something for Marlins fans to chase. Yeah, so I'm going to say under. Definitely under 80 wins for the Marlins. NL home run leader. NL home run leader, I'm going to go with... Pete Alonso had that amazing season last year as a rookie. Does he repeat? He's going to be up there. I think Pete Alonso is going to be top 2. But I think the person that finished number 2 last year is going to finish number 1 this year. And that's Eugenio Suarez. Playing in Cincinnati, that ballpark is very conducive to hitting home runs. I think the lineup's better overall. He's a little bit older. He's really maturing into a very solid power hitter. I'm going to go with him for my NL home run leader. Okay, All-Star MVP. This could be anybody. So I'm going to pick right now my current favorite player, and that's going to be Ozzie Albies. I'm going to go with Ozzie Albies as the All-Star MVP. Angels, over under 72 wins. I'm going to say over. I think the Angels are going to be much more improved this year, especially with Rendon in the lineup. That adds another big bat to that lineup. Pujols is pretty much slowing down to a trickle, but you still got Trout. You still got Ohtani. I think they're going to be better. They've improved in some areas, so I'm going to say they're going to be better. I don't know if they're going to be much better than 72 wins, but I think they're going to be better overall. Pirates over under 69 wins. They did fire Clint Hurdle at the end of last year, didn't they? Didn't Clint Hurdle get fired? I think they got a new manager. They got a young core to build around with Reynolds and Newman, Kramer. Still got Josh Bell there. So you got a young core you can build a team around. You never know. Maybe Archer turns it around and starts pitching like the Archer from Tampa Bay instead of the Pirates Archer. So I'm going to say, it's a tough one. I'm going to say under 69 games. That's what they won last year, right? 69 games. I think they're going to be right around there. It's going to be close. I'm going to say under. I'm going to say they win 68 games. Just for posterity. Okay, who has more hit by pitches? This is question number 15. Who gets hit by more pitches, Rizzo or Chu? I don't really know much about Chu, but apparently he crowds the plate a lot, like Rizzo does, because Rizzo gets hit a lot. I'm going to go with Rizzo. I'm just going to guess. I'm just guessing Rizzo. But I really think... Actually, you know what? I'm changing that. So MP Fox, if you're watching this, I am changing that pick. I'm going to go with Chu. I'm going to give you the reasoning I'm going with Chu. Because this is just a guess. So Chu plays in... Didn't he play in Texas? So if he's playing in Texas, that's the division the Astros play in. And the Astros are going to get plunked a lot this year. I think the pitchers in the AL West might be a little extra wild this year. Just from plunking the Astros so much. I'm going to go with Chu. He's kind of collateral damage for the Astros getting plunked so much. More wins, Morton or Verlander? I'm going to go with Verlander just because I think the Astros are going to win more games than the Rays win this year. Not that the Rays aren't good. The Rays find ways to make the playoffs or push for a playoff spot every year. But I really think Verlander wins more than Morton. Morton's still on the Rays, right? Shows how much research I did on this. Snell, over under 15 wins. I'm going to go under. It's really hard for a starting pitcher to get 15 wins nowadays. I really hate the win stat. Yeah, it does have a lot to do with how good a pitcher is. But, wins can be very much a team stat. Look at DeGrom. DeGrom's won 2 Cy Youngs and didn't really have the win numbers. Just can't get that run support. So I'm going to say under for Snell. But I hope he bounces back and pitches very well. First manager to be fired. I'm going to go with Bud Black. Bud Black out there in Colorado seems like things are something murky's going on out there with the Rockies. When you see Nolan Arenado being kind of disgruntled out there. I'm gonna say Bud Black. I think something strange is going on behind the scenes out there in Colorado. All right, last two questions are, who are the World Series teams from the NL and AL? I'm gonna go with the Dodgers, of course, from the NL. I think they're the best team on paper. And I'm going to go with the Yankees from the AL. I know it seems like a cop-out pick, but it's preseason. They're the best teams on paper. Got to go with them. There ain't no telling what happens during the season. You don't know how the injuries are going to play out. You don't know, what if there's a big blockbuster trade and somebody leapfrogs there into the front of the pack and really makes their team really good. You never know what's going to happen in the middle of the season. Maybe a team makes a big trade and they're a good team and now they're even better. You never know who's going to overperform, underperform during the season. You don't know how injuries are going to affect the game. It's tough to pick in the preseason who the World Series winners or the World Series participants are going to be. But I'm just going to go with the best teams on paper right now, which are the Dodgers and the Yankees. So that is my contest entry for MP Fox's contest, which you will find a link for in the description below. Alright, the last contest is going to be for Sconnie Tradition. He's doing a 600 subscriber contest. Wants to know a little bit about your background, your heritage, and a story that, from your family that you would like to tell. So, from anybody that saw my contest entry for Geez Mikey, knows that I'm half Filipino, half Caucasian, 100% American. I'm mixed of all cultures, just to say that I'm half Filipino and my mom's Filipino. But even she's a mixed culture, the Philippines there's been a lot of cultures that have moved through the Philippines. You have the Portuguese, the Spanish, Japanese, Chinese, you have the native tribes there. So there's a lot of different cultures in the Philippines, the islands. I got all that mixed in, and then, my father's side, Caucasian, really wasn't from one area of Europe that, they all came from. There's Irish, there's English, there's French in there. No telling. So, I could probably take a DNA test on one of those, was it like 23andMe or Ancestry or something like that, and it'd be like, probably like 20 cultures long, 30 cultures long, I would imagine. But yeah, so I'm really a melting pot of cultures, which is probably why I'm very much see many different sides of things. I'm, when it comes, I don't like talking about like politics and religion and stuff like that, but I can always see both sides of an argument. I always try to see both sides of an argument, and I think that has to do with having so many different cultures. My father's side of the family is way different than my mother's side of the family, like way different, ideologically, politically, all that. And I can definitely, and I'm a very adaptable person. I can definitely see both sides of any argument. I don't know who said it, but like there was a quote somewhere saying, the best way to understand where you stand on an issue is to find a way to argue against it the best. I don't know who wrote that or where it came from. I just remember overhearing it before. So, it's kind of the way I think for the most part, Sure, we all have our beliefs and all that, but where you stand on one issue, just try to find a way to, pretend like you're in a debate and you're going to debate against that issue, against your own belief, just to try to see what the other side thinks. But yeah, I think that comes mainly from my culture. Now, as far as like a story from my family, there's probably a few little snippets of stories I could tell. My mom, when she came over to America, she was 22 years old, and this was in the 60s, and she was over 8 months pregnant with my oldest sister. And no, wait. My oldest sister was already born. She was over 8 months pregnant with my oldest brother at this time, because my oldest sister was actually born in the Philippines. With my oldest brother, my mom was over 8 months pregnant with him, and she flew from the Philippines to Ohio and landed. And I think it was 2 weeks after she arrived in America that my brother was born. I don't think she'd be able to get on a plane in modern times, being that pregnant. But she hasn't been back to the Philippines since. Ever since she moved to America back in the 60s, she's never once gone back to the Philippines. Not even on vacation or anything. For my dad, I'll tell you a funny story. He was in the Marine Corps in the 60s, went to Vietnam in 66. Served 2 tours in Vietnam. He said 2 weeks before he went to Vietnam, he was stationed in 29 Palms, California, and him and some of his Marine buddies went up to LA. They used to go up to LA on, weekends and stuff to, chase the ladies and, party at the bars and stuff like that. So they had been out drinking in LA, and he decided to leave the bar, go back to the hotel. His 2 buddies were going to stay at the bar and party some more. So he left the bar, went back to the hotel, and didn't make it back up to the room. Instead, went to the hotel lobby restroom, started using the restroom. But while he was in the restroom, some dude came into the restroom and started to hit on him. My dad had never seen anything like that before. He didn't really know the big city all that well. He was from the boonies of Georgia. So when he went to LA, it was a culture shock to have a man hit on him, and he didn't know how to react. He reacted poorly, punched the guy, knocked him on his butt, and walked out of the bathroom. Went back up to his room, thought it was pretty much over. There's a knock on his door, on the hotel door. He goes and answers it. It's hotel security. They say, yeah, you need to pack up all your things and be out of the hotel in 10 minutes. Because apparently the person he hit was a celebrity. And yeah, the person he hit was a famous musician. I'm not going to say their name on here because I don't want to get sued for libel or anything putting this on YouTube, but it was a famous musician of the 60s. I'll just leave it at that. And he ended up getting kicked out of the hotel for that. And he said the worst part about it was he didn't just have to pack up his stuff. He had to pack up those other 2 Marine stuff as well and carry it over to another hotel and check in. He said that was the worst part about it. He said security was telling him, as he was leaving the hotel, was like, the entertainer wanted to call the police on him, but hotel security said they'd take care of it, get him out of the hotel without getting the police involved. And the reason for that was the hotel was well known at the time for taking a lot of the military in from 29 Palms. They didn't want to have to deal with the military and the police and a possible lawsuit from this entertainer. So yeah, 2 weeks after that, my dad got shipped off to Vietnam. And he says, well, maybe I should have went to jail. Maybe I should have refused to leave because then I wouldn't have been sent to Vietnam. So that's a funny little story from him. Said he met Sonny and Cher while he was stationed out there in Palm Springs. He said he met them. He said he liked Cher. He said Cher was real nice. He said Sonny was kind of a a-hole to him. Or just carried the aura that he was better than everybody else. But yeah, so a couple stories from my family's past. Nothing really earth-shattering or anything like that. But it's still funny to hear little anecdotal stories about that. And my dad tells me a lot of stories sometimes about him driving a cab in Miami, which is pretty funny as well. Once said that there was a man that looked like Mean Joe Green get naked in the back of the cab and put on pantyhose and then put on a women's dress, and he's going to the drag club. He said he picked up Bjorn Borg's family at the Fontainebleau to take him to the tournament down there in Miami, and he said he knew they were all related to Bjorn Borg because they didn't speak English and they all looked exactly like him. He said there was like 6 of them in his cab. But yeah, so that's my contest entry for Sconnie Tradition. Anything else I want to ramble about? I've been going for over 20. What else should I ramble about? Oh, some channel updates. Feel free to click off if you're just here for the contest entries. Yeah, so for the channel, I'm going to keep doing what I'm normally doing for my channel, but I'm going to start live streaming a little bit extra. I started doing something the other night. I called it a Cardboard Happy Hour, where I come on around 6 o'clock. Sorry if that impedes on anybody streaming. I know Deafness comes on around that time. I'm not trying to overlap with Deafness too much, but it happens. So yeah, I'm around 6 o'clock every day. I'm going to do a little Cardboard Happy Hour where I do, some dime box sales, quarter box sales, 50-cent box sales, dollar sales, just sorting through cards. If you want the card, I'll sell it to you for 10 cents a quarter, 50 cents a dollar, whatever. Kind of got them all organized by cheapness. So, they're all pretty much commons, but they're not like scrub commons, they're commons of stars and rookies and, pretty much the cards that cost more than commons. But I love dime boxes, but, the thing about a lot of the YouTube auctions, it's tough to get, cards because not everybody auctions off lots or super cheap cards like that. So, I figure 10-cent auctions, if you win, a couple cards, 1 or 2 cards, I can send it to you, in a plain white envelope, and you only got to pay like 75 cents shipping because, the cost of a stamp and envelope. So, yeah, that's something I'm gonna be doing now. It's gonna be cardboard happy hour. I'm probably gonna try to get some more product on my store, so people can do like personal rips and stuff like that. I want it to be like kind of you get off work, especially if you're on the East Coast, you get off work, you get a happy hour, you have a drink or whatever. But this one's going to be revolved around cardboard. So you come hang out with me for, an hour or so, rip some packs, rip some personal packs, rip some repacks. Just BS if you want to talk about your day or whatever, love to chat. I love to ramble, obviously, as you can see on the camera, which is funny because I'm a very, very reserved person for the most part, like pretty introverted, been introverted my whole life for the most part. The only thing being introvert means is that, they recharge their energy. They get energy from their thoughts, from, being alone. When they're around other people, it's draining. It like drains them. Your energy gets drained by other people. So my voice is starting to crack here. It's just it's getting really late. I know I've been talking for a while. Yeah, so that's just one thing that's going on my channel. I'm just going to be doing quick live streams. I probably won't do it every weeknight to get started, maybe once or twice a week. Just to have some fun, hang out, especially people that are leaving work to hang out. Maybe even people on the West Coast that are in the doldrums of their afternoon. Maybe you can stop by and say hey and chat a little bit. Throw some funny stuff up in chat because I love getting a good chuckle out of some of the things y'all type in chat. Anything else I want to talk about? No, I'm gonna leave it at that. I thought I had more to talk about on Off the Cuff, but I think I've gone long enough, 30 minutes or so. It's enough rambling to hear from me. Appreciate y'all watching. I don't know when I'm gonna upload this, but it's late right now. I don't think I'm gonna mess with it right now because I do edit the videos. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm done rambling. I think I'm gonna go to bed now. It seems like a good time to go to bed. But I appreciate y'all watching. Remember, this is Card Obvious. You can only control 2 things. That's your thoughts and your actions. So stay positive. Keep ripping them packs. Be awesome. Be awesome to others. What they say on Bill and Ted, be excellent to each other. And I am out. Peace.